Most basic necessities are found or created on land. Crops for your food, trees for your shelter, and many more to mention. So why is that? As time goes by, there are many lands that are being destroyed. Is it because land is where various technologies that have benefit to the people are created? These technologies that make people's lives easy destroy our land. So can we say that the biggest invasive species are humans? We will also learn in this info video the two biogeochemical cycles that best represent the land, which are sedimentary and phosphorus cycle. So sit back, relax, and join us. Together, we will dig deeper so we can be fully aware on what are the things that can destroy our lands.
Our ecosystem has several natural cycles moving the essential elements for life to sustain. Among these cycles is the biogeochemical cycle. It mainly refers to the movement of nutrients and other elements between biotic and abiotic factors. This cycle is divided into gaseous cycles and sedimentary cycles, but we will focus on the cycle on land, the sedimentary cycle, and under this is the phosphorus cycle. We will first dig deeper into the sedimentary cycle. Sedimentary cycle is the weathering of an existing rock followed by the erosion of minerals, their movement and deposition, and finally burial. Its reservoir is Earth's crust, and the elements under this cycle move from land to water to sediment. Each cycle consists fundamentally of a solution phase and a rock phase. The sedimentary cycle is vital as it is the lithosphere primary source of nutritional elements, which are released during weathering.
Now, let's dig deeper into the phosphorus cycle. Phosphorus is an essential mineral nutrient for all plants and animals. Phosphorus moves in a cycle through rocks, water, soil sediments, and organisms. Most of the phosphorus that is mined is used to make fertilizers. Many plants, crops, needs more phosphorus than is dissolved in the soil to grow optimally. Weathering rocks and minerals release phosphorus to the environment, which is taken up by plants and proceed into the organic compounds. The importance of the phosphorus cycle is that plants may not be able to use the phosphate in the form of fertilizers. Most of the nutrients are lost through water runoff.
Human impacts the environments that causes direct or indirect changes, which leads to experiencing anthropogenic effects. Anthropogenic activities requires much space and which destroys or replaces original land covers will consequently dominate human-driven landscapes dynamics. As time moves forward, these detrimental effects can negatively affect the environment due to large-scale spatial footprints of men's actions such as urbanization, industrial development, road infrastructures, or any alteration of an original natural land cover by an anthropogenic type which is called anthroponization. This activity is one main factor of climate change since its emission of pollutants such as greenhouse gases and aerosols have significantly and rapidly altered the function of the ecosystem.
We can see both direct and indirect anthropogenic effects which are divided into four primary factors: overexploitation of natural resources, habitat modification, conversion and fragmentation, the introduction of exotic species, and lastly, pollution. Human beings may influence biodiversity at the ecological spectrum's genetic, population, species, ecosystem, biome, and biosphere levels. Because species and ecosystem are interconnected and interdependent, any human impact on one species or ecosystem may impact each other. A chain reaction, also known as a cascade effect, occurs when one species or ecosystem affects another.
An invasive species is an organism that causes a great ecological or economic harm in the environment, where it is not native, but not every non-native species are considered invasive. One must adapt to the new area easily where it can reproduce quickly, and most importantly, it harms the region's economy. Some species are introduced by natural factors like storms, ocean currents, or climate shift, but majority of the invasive species are introduced by humans. It often happens unintentionally, like the zebra mussels that are native to the Black Sea and Caspian Sea, but eventually it was accidentally brought to Lake Erie by cargo ship, and now it doesn't only reproduce easily, but also it threatens the native species in the lake. Peoples happen to be one of the reasons why this species happens to travel across the world. Kudzuban, for example, have grown quietly in its native East Asia, but it was imported to the southern United States for porch decoration. And it was also subsidized by the government to fight soil erosion, but unknowingly without natural predators and balanced climate, the vine grew uncontrollably until it became known as the plant that ate the South. These examples are called invasive species, organisms harmful not because of what they are, but where they happen to be. And now, since the humans are causing harm in the environment, are we considered invasive species too?
These anthropogenetic effects could also affect the human's back, especially our genes. Here where epigenetic comes in, is to study how human behavior and environment can influence how your genes functions. Exposure to various environment toxins has proven to cause changes in the epigenetic variables, and some of them have been connected to certain diseases. The environment causes epigenetic changes in the broad sense. The cell receives a steady stream of signals telling about surroundings, allowed it to specialize during development or alter its activity to the context. Epigenetic alterations are reversible and do not change your DNA sequence, nevertheless they can modify how your body reads a DNA sequence. Among the environmental pollutant causing this alteration is the pesticide, which is trigger epigenetic mechanism resulting in many diseases, including lung disease.
We, the Earthernals, are speaking to raise awareness about the negative anthropogenic effects on our environment. We have talked over and explained the Sedimentary&Phosphorus cycle in detail and how frightening adverse anthropogenic effects are. At the end of the day, most of us forget about the rising global environmental issues because we have the privilege of doing so. The national mindset surrounding global environmental issues must be repaired. What we need is a culture shift in society. It is a responsibility to protect environment and save our Mother Earth from deteriorating. Our generation needs to start taking responsibility for the world that we'll soon inherit and make sure that future generations will have a safe world to live in.